Okay, it is time for my 2021, way too early, NBA mock draft. So that's what we're going to do in today's video. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We're going to do only lottery picks in this video. So we are going off the current draft standings as of right now. So if you think it's going to be a little different, these are the draft standings as of right now. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into this video with lottery picks only. Starting off with the first overall selection, the Detroit Pistons have this selection here, and here's the thing with the Pistons. I feel like Jeremy Grant's your starting small forward for the future. Your power forward for the future looks to be Blake Griffin. Derrick Rose is a piece that's probably going to be traded. I think Killian Hayes has a lot of draft bust potential from what we've seen so far, but he is out with an ACL, MCL, some kind of injury like that, or even a knee. I'm not sure which it is. Derrick Rose will most likely be traded at the trade deadline. Mason Plumlee's not your center for the future, it doesn't look like. You've got good wings in Sadiq Bey, who you drafted, Sekou Doumbouya, Josh Jackson, and others. So your small forward, power forward positions are good right now. Your shooting guard position, I think for the future, that looks to be Killian Hayes, because with the first overall selection, this doesn't take a rocket scientist. We've seen them draft players like Darko in the past. But the obvious choice here is Cade Cunningham, the 6'8" freshman from Oklahoma State. It makes too much sense. If the Pistons manage to screw this one up, then they need help as an organization. The second pick goes to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they're in an interesting position coming off where they just got the first overall pick and obviously drafted Anthony Edwards. They have Malik Beasley at that position too, so shooting guard's good. Along with point guard, you've got D'Angelo Russell and Ricky Rubio there. Karl Anthony Towns is a center, obviously, so you don't need a center. But what you look more towards is a small forward, power forward here. You could say that Jared Culver is your future small forward. I don't necessarily agree with that, but whatever. I mean, with the second overall pick here, I am going to go with Evan Mobley from USC, the 7-foot freshman. He's going to play more of a power forward role on this team because obviously they have Karl Anthony Towns, or he can switch to center, and Karl Anthony Towns can switch to the power forward position. But I think that this is the smart pick here because Evan Mobley does play very good defense, and that's what the Minnesota Timberwolves need around a player like Karl Anthony Towns that plays very below average defense. And I think this is a very good pickup by the Minnesota Timberwolves here. And you still do need a small forward, you could say, or Jared Culver is your starting small forward for the future. Third selection here is the Washington Wizards. You've got what looks to be your backcourt for the future, well, for at least right now, and unless request trades happen, is Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal. Your small forward for the future looks to be Denny Avdija, your top 10 pick in the 2020 draft. You've also got Troy Brown Jr. there. Power forward is Davis Bertans, who does not play very good defense, and what they need is a center, and centers are not the strong suit of this draft class. So you're probably looking more towards a power forward here, and that power forward I think is going to be Jonathan Kuminga out of the G League. He's actually going to be the first player selected from the G League here instead of Jalen Green. I think he would be a very good fit with this Washington Wizards team, and he can shoot the ball lights out, and Denny Avdija could be moved to power forward, or he could be moved to power forward. Who knows how this G League route will work out, but if it works out good, then I think these selections definitely will stay the same. Fourth selection, the Houston Rockets here, and your backcourt got John Wall at your point guard position. That's close to an untradeable contract, if we're being honest. You could use a shooting guard here because obviously Victor Oladipo after the season is not going to be there. Christian Wood, DeMarcus Cousins. Where's Christian Wood here? You say center or power forward. I see him more as a power forward, but whatever. So you're looking more towards like a power forward center here. But I think this selection here is kind of obvious, and you go with Jalen Green from the G League once again. 6'5" shooting guard. It was very well who did very well in high school, but maybe that does not translate to the G League level. Next is the fifth overall selection, the Sacramento Kings here. Your point guard, you don't really need anybody. I think your backcourt's pretty much set here because you've got De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton. I think small forward, Buddy Hield could be moved there, or he could be eventually traded. Harrison Barnes is there too. Marvin Bagley. I do believe in Marvin Bagley's potential. But here, I think you're looking more towards a wing-type player. Obviously, you would love to have Jonathan Kuminga, who was selected with the 3rd overall pick. But here, I think you're going with Scotty Barnes, the 6'9 freshman from Florida State. I think that's who you're going to go with here. And he's going to be a good small forward for this team. 6th selection is the Toronto Raptors here. You don't really need a power forward. You've got Pascal Siakam there. Fred VanVleet, Kyle Lowry is your point guards, so we kind of rule that position out. You need a center, you do, but Evan Mobley's kind of off the board, and then after that, it's a while till you get another big man. And that's really their main position of need right now. You could say they could use a small forward or shooting guard, but what I'm going to go with here is maybe a controversial one, but with the 6th overall pick, they will be selecting Jalen Suggs, the 6'4 freshman from Gonzaga. I think this is a pretty good pick for this team. You get a future backcourt of Fred VanVleet and Jalen Suggs, and that is a very, very good backcourt. Not to mention the fact that Kyle Lowry could mentor Jalen Suggs, which would be really, really good for his development, as good as Kyle Lowry has been in his NBA career. Next, with the 7th selection, the New Orleans Pelicans select here. They're in an interesting spot as a team. They traded their shooting guard in Drew Holiday, so that could be a need here. Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson are your forwards for the future. You could use the center here. Steven Adams, just not it. Kyra Lewis, I think, is your point guard for the future. I know Jackson Hayes is here. I don't really see him being starting center. Maybe he is that. But it looks like a shooting guard is your main need here, and I think they're going to go with James Bouknight from UConn, the 6'5 sophomore. I think they're going to go with him with their 7th selection. With the 8th overall selection, the Oklahoma City Thunder select here. Here's the thing. You've got your point guard for the future, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Power forward is kind of set too. And small forward, you could say set too, but it's a very small forward heavy draft class here. I think with this selection, they're going to go with Jalen Johnson, the small forward, 6'9 freshman from Duke. He has been out with injury, but I think he still will be a very good pickup for this team. 9th selection is the Orlando Magic. The Magic, Markelle Fultz is out with a season-ending ACL injury, so that maybe lean towards a point guard here. And small forward also could be another one, but you figure Jonathan Isaac's going to come back. Nikola Vucevic is there at your center position. I think you could use maybe a small forward here. And I think they go with Zaire Williams here out of Stanford, 6'8". I think he would be a very good pickup for this team. Next is the Charlotte Hornets, who have moved up in the lottery, which is not a good thing, obviously. But you've got LaMelo Ball at your point guard position for the future. I think Terry Rozier is kind of your shooting guard here for right now. Small forward's Gordon Hayward. It looks to be a power forward or center here. PJ Washington, I don't know how much longer you can keep him here. And I think they're going with Greg Brown, the 6'9 freshman from Texas. I think this would be a pretty good pick for them. A stretch center who could play small ball 5. And I think he would be a very good pick for this team. 11th pick is the Chicago Bulls. Now, Zach LaVine's your shooting guard for the future. There's kind of no and ifs or buts about that from what it seems like, unless he requests a trade. Power forwards go with Lauri Markkanen. Small forward position, Patrick Williams. If you believe in Patrick Williams' potential, then yeah, they're fine there too. Center is a huge need, but they don't really have that, so they're going to run with Wendell Carter Jr. unless they could sign someone in free agency. But you're looking more towards a point guard here. And that point guard, I think, is going to be Deshaun Nix from the G League. Another player that chose the G League route, and I think he would be a good pick for Chicago. 12th pick is the New York Knicks, who you could say would select Deshaun Nix if he was there. They need a point guard, and that's really their main position of need, a backcourt player. And right here, with their 12th overall pick, I see them selecting Cameron Thomas from LSU, who's been one of the best players so far in college basketball, playing for LSU, scoring over 20 points per game. He's been very, very good so far. Next is the Denver Nuggets with the 13th pick, and you're looking for a power forward here. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this pick, but it's Usman Garuba from Spain, 6'8", power forward. I think he would fit very well this team, especially with an aging Paul Millsap. Maybe he could be a good mentor for a young player like Usman Garuba. With the 14th selection, final pick of the lottery is the Oklahoma City Thunder. You've got your small forward for the future here. You've got your power forward. Your center is still a need here. I don't really think you're going center here because it seems kind of like a reach. But I think here you're looking more towards maybe a shooting guard or point guard here, depending on where you see Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for the future. And let's go ahead and look at what position Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's played more so far this season. I personally think he's more of a shooting guard type player, and that's just my opinion. But I think they're going to go with a point guard here in Sharife Cooper from Auburn, the freshman from Auburn who just is able to play now and has only played 2 games due to eligibility problems. But yeah, let's go ahead and do a bit of a recap of the lottery here, and that's going to be the end of this video. With the first overall selection, the Detroit Pistons selected Cade Cunningham. With the second overall selection, the Minnesota Timberwolves selected Evan Mobley. With the third overall selection, the Washington Wizards selected Jonathan Kuminga. With the fourth overall selection, the Houston Rockets selected Jalen Green. With the fifth overall selection, the Sacramento Kings selected Scotty Barnes. With the sixth overall selection, the Toronto Raptors selected Jalen Suggs. With the seventh overall selection, the New Orleans Pelicans selected James Bouknight. With the eighth overall selection, the Oklahoma City Thunder selected Jalen Johnson. With the ninth overall selection, the Orlando Magic selected Zaire Williams. With the 10th overall selection, the Charlotte Hornets selected Greg Brown. With the 11th overall selection, the Chicago Bulls selected Daishawn Nix. With the 12th overall selection, the New York Knicks selected Cameron Thomas. With the 13th overall pick, the Denver Nuggets selected Usman Garuba. And with the final pick of the lottery, the Oklahoma City Thunder selected Sharife Cooper. Yeah, so that's my lottery mock draft as of right now. If you want to see one of these, like maybe monthly, I don't know. Yeah, leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. And yeah, thank you for watching, and peace.